So you've read about using appropriate tools strategically to help students understand mathematical ideas. And so here's another tool, a visual representation of the multiplication process. Now, have you ever seen patty paper? Maybe you don't know what that's what it's called, but if you ever bought frozen hamburgers, or fresh hamburgers for that matter, they usually separate the hamburger patties with some little square wax papers. It's called patty paper because hamburger patties, get it? Well, patty paper is this waxy paper is really powerful in this context because students can fold it, and because of the wax, it leaves little creases. And so I'm going to show you in this PowerPoint how this patty paper can be used to help students see fraction multiplication. Are you ready? All right, so first of all, we will take multiplication to mean m copies of n, or something is m times as large as n. And as you work through this, I want to just highlight too that you're going to have to pay special attention to the referent. What is the fraction referring to? What is it relative to? Are you ready? Terry notices that there's 3/4 of a cake left after the party. He notices that 1/8 of the remaining cake had all the frosting taken from it. What part of the original cake remaining still has frosting? Do you see how important it is that we're keeping track of the referent? There's 3/4 of a full cake, there's 1/8 of the remaining cake, and then the answer is back to the full cake. That's that flexibility in thinking about the referent that we've been talking about throughout the last several modules. All right, I'm going to get right to it here. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to get right to it. So imagine this patty paper. I'm going to do it with PowerPoint, but imagine a piece of this waxy paper, and you could fold it in half again to get fourths. Now, why fourths? Because the problem was Terry noticed, let me back up, Terry noticed that 3/4 of a cake was left over after the party. And so what we want to think about is 3/4 of the cake. And so we take away that fourth and we think about 3/4 of the whole cake. So here's the whole cake. And what's shaded here now is 3/4 of the whole cake. But then the problem was that Terry notices that 1/8 of the remaining cake, so 1/8 of that blue has the frosting removed from it, had all of the frosting taken from it. All right, so there's 3/4 of a cake, and now we want to take the remaining cake and cut it up into eighths. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So Terry notices that 1/8 of the remaining cake. And so here it is. I have to go across like that. There's 1/8. Now, oops, come back. That's 1/8. That's 1/8. 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. 1/2 of the remaining cake of the 3/4 had the frosting removed from it. All right, so now the question was, what part of the original cake still has frosting? All right, so here's the picture. In yellow is pretend that's there's no frosting. So what part of the cake still has frosting? Well, there's this blue stuff still has frosting. And what is this blue stuff? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's 21. But 21 what? Referencing the whole cake, you have to kind of imagine this thing extending. There'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. There'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. So the whole cake would have 4 by 8, would have 32 of these little pieces. And of the 32 little pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21 of them, 7 by 3, still have frosting. So the whole thing would be a 21 30 seconds. Okay, so did you catch all that? So Carrie notices that 3/4 of the cake was remaining, and 1/8 of the remaining cake had the frosting taken from it. So 1/8 copies of the 3/4 had had frosting taken from it. And so what we saw here was this is where the frosting was taken. Now, what is that? Relative to the whole cake, what is that? Well, I'm talking about the frosting that was taken. The frosting that was taken was the yellow pieces. There's 3 yellow pieces, but those yellow pieces, relative to the whole cake again, each of those yellow pieces is, if you notice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There'd be 32 of those pieces. So 3/32 is where the frosting was removed. But the question was how much frosting remains, and the frosting that remains would be these sections. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 of the whole, back to the whole cake again, 21/32. So just have to have you see that as we fold the paper. If this was patty paper, you could fold the paper, you could see the sections, you could count all the pieces, and we could think about what 1/8 of a copy of 3/4 is, which is 3/32. And then that's the frosting was removed from 3/32 of the whole cake, and 21/32 of the whole cake still has frosting.